Hello, YouTube. I want to thank you for subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I thank you in advance. The thing is, the whole thing that motivated me to do this channel is because I feel like I have a lot to offer to the trucking community. The thing is that I have 20 years experience in trucking, and I've been up and down. I've seen ups and downs. I've had my own company 3 times and failed. But I decided, failure is how you look at it. I think about people like Thomas Edison, who they say he failed over 1,000 times or more, but eventually he wound up creating the light bulb. I don't know about you, but it'd be really hard to live without lights. Now that we're accustomed to them. But I guess if you didn't know about it, then you didn't know about it. But either way, I choose to take my failures as a learning lesson and learn from them because I failed in the past by doing different things and making different mistakes. I've learned from the mistakes, and the mistakes have made me a lot smarter. And I feel like with that knowledge and that experience, I'm definitely ready to go to the next level. I mean, all the way to the point to where I'm ready to have my own company. As far as we talking 50 to 100 trucks. That's what I'm looking at in the near future. My goal this year is 6 trucks. Is to have 6 trucks on the road. And my thing is when you really start doing your research on what a business look like, a true business is a business that is ran and operated without you. And you can't truly say you have a trucking business if you have to be behind the wheel every day. You can truly say you have a trucking business when you have a fleet of drivers that are as good or better of drivers than you are out there making it happen for your company. And you built a team that you can rely on. And you can spend your time researching and doing what you need to do to build your company and make your company stronger as far as logistics go. As far as you know, all the logistics and the behind the scenes. Spending your time working on the behind the scenes. And starting off, I'm at a point in my life where in my career where I have to do both. I'm researching the background while at the same time spending time behind the wheel. And I took a little time to go from just being regional to being local so that I can spend more time working on the behind the scenes. So March of this year is my start date goal to jump off my company, American Daydream Trucking. So that is my goal. And that's the thing, as a truck driver or as a person without goals, the thing is, it's very hard to succeed. It's a very small percent, less than 10% of the population write their goals down. And every successful person that I follow said that they had goals. They wrote down and they accomplished. And they kept going on until it was accomplished. They had daily goals, monthly goals, yearly goals, long-term goals. And at the end of the day, that's what I've been practicing and putting together, YouTube. And that's the thing. I want us to grow together. Everybody that subscribed to this channel, I want us to grow. I want us to network. As time go on, my vision and my goal is to have a mastermind group for the trucking industry. The thing is, so many other industries have it. When you're dealing with investments and different things of that nature. I'm ready to see truckers have that. And hey, that's a big shout out to the other truckers who's doing YouTube channels as well, like Trucker Brown and other truckers out there. The thing is that I'm not here for competition, but I'm here to fill in a missing piece. And that's the thing. God only made one of you, one of me. And the thing is, what you have to offer this world, nobody else can offer that but you. And that's my thing. I've been sitting back really for the last 2 or 3 years thinking about a lot of stuff I have to offer to the trucking industry, and I've been sitting with my mouth closed. And the first thing I do want to disclaim is that I'm not perfect. I've matter of fact, even recently, I've taken trucking jobs that I feel like I'm far too experienced to take. But the thing is that I realize that it's not all about wealth, and it's not all about that. It's not all about what you make per hour or about a mile or about a load sometimes. I'd rather take a $500 a week cut for 6 months and store up knowledge that's going to bring me 2 to 4 thousand a week more than I was making previous to that cut. So, I'm trying to get to the point to where I am a visionary thinker, where I can think beyond tomorrow, beyond a week, beyond a month, but over into years and 5 years and 10 years. And that's the whole thing, YouTube. So really this topic, I know I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit, but this topic is, can it really be profitable to run local, regional type runs as a company driver or owner operator? I want to tell you, yes, it can be. It can be far more sometimes profitable than OTR, because when you OTR, especially if you haven't established a lane and a niche for yourself, you can find yourself in areas that pays good going in, but don't pay much at all going out. And deeper than that, you can find yourself sometimes stuck at different docks, for time and time on end, and now you thrown out of the loop to get a run coming back out. And that's the whole thing. So if I take a load from, let's say, from the Midwest to California, by the time I get to California, my week is almost done. So if I don't have something pre-planned, and if they don't get me unloaded the way they supposed to, I can find myself spending a whole week with only 2,000 miles. 1,500 to 2,000 miles for that week. And that's not a very profitable week. I don't care how much money you made by the mile or percentage. The thing is that at the end of the day, no matter what kind of commodity you running, if you run an OTR, at the end of the day, you better be making at least one round trip going out and back at the very minimum. So that's the way I look at the trucking game. So now when you switch that around, and let's say you're a regional driver, and to me, through my experience and looking at the trucking industry as a whole, at the end of the day, the most profitable commodities that I've experienced, at least when it comes down to van, is reefer. Is reefer commodity loads. I've recently done work for a local supermarket here in this area I'm in. Oh, it pays well. It's regional. You drive everywhere you go. You can be back by the time it's time for you to have your 10-hour break. And each round trip paid anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a day, and you home every night. That's the type of thing I'm talking about, where you can do the same thing over the road, but your return may not be always profitable. But with the regional thing, and the thing is, and that's another thing I want to talk to you about. Now, when I say regional, local can be more profitable, it all depends on your setup. If you're a company driver, it's going to depend on how that company has set up their drivers to make their turns. So in some cases, you're going to be dependent upon that company and the way its systems ran. That's why even before you have a company, even if you are a trucker that's a company driver, you need to be looking at the company and how it operates, how it makes its run, how it makes its turnarounds. Are you doing drop and hook? What are you going to be doing? Because even though that's not your company, if their logistics is off, it's still going to affect your pay. So, and then the thing is that it's the best way to learn. When you're a company driver, that's the best time to find out what works and what doesn't for the companies that you are working for. So when you begin to develop and build your trucking plan, you know what works and what not works. So don't just go in with a blind mind that, hey, I'm just a local driver, I'm just a company driver, I ain't worried about what they're doing. Well, if you got that kind of mindset, you're going to find yourself being with a few companies and you missed out opportunities to learn. You can be someplace, but your mind not be there. And that's the whole thing, look at it as if, you're being trained literally how to be your own company. The thing is, it's kind of like college students, when they're in school, there's times where, hey, they'll work for free just to get the just to get the experience and to know how it looks hands-on. Sometimes it can work as a profit for you, for us, if we think in our mindset that, hey, I'm going to look at this as a training opportunity. I'm going to look at this as a training opportunity for myself, on do's and what not to do's, and that's the whole thing, all the way down to the way they pay, the way they don't pay, the way they treat you, the way they don't treat you. I mean, everything down to the dispatching, down to the customers they serve, or do they run their own products? So, which we can really start getting into in some future videos, YouTube. But as of right now, let's stay on the topic. How can regional/local trucking be as profitable or more profitable for a truck driver, rather you are a company driver or rather you're an owner operator? So let's focus on the company drivers right now. Some of the perks I see as profitability as a company driver is that if you have a family, a wife and kids, or one or the other, the thing is that it's going to be way more comforting and for your family to be closer to your home. If emergencies sparking up and you only 5 or 6 hours away from your family versus a whole day and a half away from your family, you can get there and have some things done and possibly show up to some of them basketball nights and baseball nights, what have you. So also look at it like that too. So when I'm saying profitable, I don't mean just on the money. I mean as relationships goes, and even for yourself. And another thing you can look at as a company driver, if you local/regional, if it's a type of company where it's touch freight. I know a lot of drivers, it seems like drivers, we have a reputation for not really wanting to deal with touch freight. But the thing is that especially when you're looking at being local or regional, touch freight is what's going to bridge that gap between local and OTR. Because if you run a local OTR and you touching your own freight, that's usually extra pay on top of you driving. And the thing is that I've always looked at that as free fitness. You paying me to stay fit. Because drivers, if we're doing nothing but staying behind the wheel and never really getting out and being active, rather it be on the job or off the job, the thing is that at some point we're going to have to pay back health-wise. So I've never been afraid to touch freight. So if you're the type of person that's not afraid to touch freight, that's going to bridge that gap between OTR and regional. I'm sorry that I keep looking over there. I'm kind of using this light right now. But, and so even right now, the thing is that, look at me right now. I'm at home making a video. If I was OTR, I'd be having to make my video while I'm on my 10-hour break in my truck. Cutting my truck off, cutting my truck back on, make sure you can hear me, see me, etc. But, not that that's bad, but my point is that I feel like, number one, the greatest success you're going to ever have is having power over your time. The greatest commodity we got on earth is our time on this earth. We don't know when that ends. It can end any time. Today can be your last day. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the more we can keep somewhat control over that, I think that's where wealth begins, So that's kind of where I'm coming at when I'm leading towards when I start talking about being profitable, as a local, regional type of driver, and that's the whole thing, YouTube. So one of the other things that I've seen when dealing with it is that I wrote it down. Okay, now if you're gonna be local or regional, obviously you need, it's gonna depend on what type of company you with. If you go with, one of the things I realized too is that some of your bigger outfits out there, I can't say no names, but some of your bigger trucking companies out there who offer local, usually they pay nothing. I mean, very minimum, because the thing is, they want you over the road. They don't want you comfortable where you are. They don't want you building your wealth or building your career and having a home time too. They do, but they want you on that freight first. They profits first, then you. I mean, hey, you can't fault them at the same time. So it's just that's your number one thing. Be careful. And what I found through my experience, usually your trucking companies that cater to food products, rather is going serving major food chains, eateries, or whatever have you. I'm not, because I'm not promoting no particular companies. I'm trying not to name no names. So the thing is, I mean, you can kind of put it together. If you focus on companies that's serving the food industry, think about it though. People gonna eat year round, no matter what. I don't care what the economy look like. They're gonna eat. I don't care if it's snow on the ground or if it's 100 degrees outside. People are going to eat. So if you hook up with a company, local or regional, that service the food industry, you're gonna have year-round work, and it's gonna pay you well. It's gonna pay you just as much, sometimes more, than being over the road, and you can have far more home time than you would if you was over the road. And then you can turn around and use that same leverage, save up your money, and begin to build your the same strategy for yourself to run locally. That's what I'm looking to do. That's what I'm working on right now as we speak. I'm not going to be one of these YouTubers who I'm not trying to fool you. I'm being transparent as possible. The thing is, I think it's a perfect timing. Yeah, I wish that I can already show you what I've done, but I think it's not as bad either to have you walk with me as I take this journey to build my dream. And that's the thing. And I'm just going to take you with me step by step. We're going to do it. YouTube, we're going to do this. So that's the whole thing. And one of the other positives that I see to being local regional is that, especially like usually if you local regional, you're going to have some days where you go out and back in 10 hours or 12 hours, whatever. And then sometimes they'll mix it to where you might just be straight local. And it's almost like a shift, 6 to 6, 7 to 7, whatever. So the good thing about something like that is now you have a schedule. Okay, so now, all right, when I get off after these 12 hours, I can start studying. I can start looking into how I'm going to build my empire, my trucking empire. I'm going to start looking into, what steps I'm going to take. Do I need to take a course? What do I need to do? Do I need to get with somebody, work with somebody else who's already doing it locally, and just offer my services to them, for free, just to see how they doing it, how they making this thing work. So that's the whole thing I like about that, because it goes back to that time again. Like I said, again, you're in control of your time. So you can begin to start maneuvering some things. That's one of the things I hate the most about OTR. It's almost like sometimes you feel like you in this box, man, and it's like only thing you good for is driving a truck and taking a 10-hour break. And it gets so repetitive, and mentally sometimes you feel like you're not going anywhere. There's only so much you can do. And that's one of the things, I frown upon when we start looking at the OTR side of things, But, hey, there's perks to it, too, and it just all depends on your personality and your goals, too. But here again, like I said, if your goals is to become more than a driver that sits behind the wheel, then at some point you can no longer be an OTR driver. If you're trying to build an empire and you over the road, you can't really monitor your other drivers as well as you could if you were local and not behind the wheel. But as I said in the beginning of the video, but you're in the office, monitoring, making sure things is working out. And that's the whole thing, building up a crew, a backup crew, and different things like that. So at the end of the day, those are some of the things we need to look at, YouTube. And I know that's not talked about a lot, and I'm sure everybody don't have the same goals as I do. And some have longer, some have smaller, whatever. But like I said, I feel like my place in the trucking industry is to really hit angles that other people didn't see or necessarily didn't think about or just don't plain talk about. YouTube, you know. But one of the other things I like about it is that I don't have to sleep in the truck. After doing this 20 years, I am tired of sleeping in an 18-wheeler. You know, trucker T, that's one thing I'm tired of. You know, no more sleeping in a truck. I want to sleep in my bed, my Serta bed, my $1,000 bed, you know, and not some mat, you know, with either the engine or that APU running all night. No. I want to sleep in my bed, you know. But that's me, and yeah, you may be new in this or old or whatever, but at some point, you know, sleeping in that truck begins to get old really quick, and personally, I think that if the trucking industry can become more educated, I think that within 5 years, nobody should still be behind the wheel. You should be at a point to where, you know, you have other drivers driving for you. And I know everybody's not made to be an entrepreneur, but even if you went on and did that and did other things, you know, but however, I feel like after 5 years, you definitely shouldn't be forced to be behind a wheel and sleeping in a truck running 48 states if that's not something you don't desire no longer. And I feel like it's a lot of drivers like me feeling like you're stuck in between achieving your goals and just maintaining and making the minimum, you know. There's a lot of drivers out there making $800 a week. There's a lot of drivers out there stuck in some of these lease programs in the zero, eating off fuel cards, you know. And a lot of drivers say, oh, they just don't want to run, or they just don't want to. No, it is some companies where they can get you in the hole. You know, it don't take a whole lot. One breakdown can put you in a snowball chasing effect where you may never come back again. And that driver thought he had his dream when he achieved that truck, not knowing that he was only one breakdown away from a disaster to not being able to pay his bills, you know? And that's the whole thing. And that's another thing that angers me about the trucking industry. There's so many trucking companies out there who just really don't have no hardship programs for inspiring trucker owners, you know, fleet owners, business owners. You know, the thing is, if you create that program as a company, I feel like at the same time there should be some incentives there, you know, some bailout incentives, one or two, whatever have you. But since it's not, that's why I'm making this YouTube video right here, is because, you know, we have to create our own bailout, truckers. You know, we do, and we need one another to do it. And that's why your boy Trucker T is here. And that's what I come to talk about and educate about and apply. And I just want to put my life on blast and put it in video, put it on film for you, YouTube. You know, and we're going to grow together. And I'm taking, you know, you have any questions, you know, right now with me growing, I can take emails, I can take whatever, you know, and that's what I come to talk about, to let you know that I am available. And the thing is that, you know, I think it should be more partnering going on. You know, that's one of the things I'm doing on the side right now is real estate. That's another one of the reasons why I kind of sat back for a minute to take me something local, because I can begin to dive in to different things where instead of just having my money sit in the bank, I can have my money working for me, building me assets. And the thing is that in the real estate game, it's popular to do JVs, which stand for joint ventures. And the thing is that that's something we need to introduce to the trucking industry. You know, two drivers come together. Maybe one have good credit. Maybe one has bad credit but got cash flow. And the thing is that you can come together, purchase a third truck, hire a driver, split the profits, split the losses. If it don't work, you only lost out on half instead of 100% of a business venture. And that's some of the things I just really want to introduce to the trucking industry. I mean, it's so many other things that we can adopt from other industries that can really turn the trucking industry around 360. You know, so when you begin, so now you probably can understand a little bit better why I said local/regional trucking can be just as profitable, if not more, depending on how you do it and how you thinking and where you going and what your goals are and what your plans are, YouTube. I'll do a part 2 to this, YouTube. That's what I do. I need to get ready to get off here, YouTube. But the thing is that please subscribe. If you have any questions, email me. Whatever, contact me. I'm definitely open at this point, and I will continue to be. And I kind of, it's not. I don't make these videos just to preach at you and teach at you, but really to stir up your mind and to encourage us as drivers to just really adopt more creative ways of thinking. We don't have to be traditional. We don't have to be the same drivers was 50 years ago. We need to adapt. If you look at all the companies now, like you take Facebook. At one point, it was MySpace that dominated social media. And then Facebook came and just took everything to another level. Well, that's how we need to be in our mindsets as individuals with trucking. One individual can take the trucking industry to a whole nother level if we begin to think out of the box and not just be cookie sheeted in our thinking and in our thoughts. Well, until next time, YouTube, it's your boy Trucker T, Trucking for Millions.